just one of those loudmouth student activists.
Oh, so you're a student activist.
Yeah.
You're one of those that felt that the time had come for the
Yeah.
change of government, like Talbot's situation?
Of course. I don't deny that.
Could you give us an overview? What group were you with? Were you just on the campus of LU or where?
Well, I always like to do this. Apologize to history, to the events of history. It's ugly. And that's something that I want to remember. We have not achieved anything. We can look back to what we said we wanted to do. And that's the reason why. I mean, I was not asked to discuss these issues. That's the reason why I have not added it to my testimonies. Because I would have presented one letter I wrote my friend and big brother, Bacchus Matthews, late Bacchus Matthews. And I said to him, you said in this newspaper article that you cannot apologize. I said, please, you're not apologizing for yourself, big brother. You're apologizing to the events of history. If you decide to move a pail of water from one point to another, and mistakenly you spill water on somebody, are you too big to say, I didn't mean this, you were not my target, and I'm sorry? If you wanted to propel Liberia into the 21st century of democracy, and during that process we hurt people, are we so big? Or can we continue to live in a state of denial and refuse to apologize to the events of history? I'm not one of those. I've apologized to history. I've apologized to the mishap. In my youthful exuberance, I did a lot of things, and I wish to apologize to that. And I will make mention of that in my concluding statement.
Okay. So, were you a member, though, of the PPP at that time?
No, I was a member of the True Whig Party.
Oh, so you're a True Whig Party member?
Yeah, we went for this internal change. We wanted to make a change. And today, as I listen to what is being said here, and hear some of my brothers who were vehemently opposed to the True Whig Party and everything they stood for, to come and praise William Richard Talbot, that's an insult to the member of William Richard Talbot. You don't do that. You don't do that. I hear this over and over again. For us, as I like to say, when I left the True Whig Party, one of the parties I joined was the Liberian Action Party, because I saw the Action Party as a party of lawyers, people who wanted to bring about a change in this country. And so we went through that, and again, I wish not to indict them. I wish that we all can remember that we owe Mother Liberia a lot, and the best way we can address Mother Liberia issue is to speak to the truth.
We had heard that during that period there was a series of potential coups in the making underground. They talk about this right-wing True Whig Party-based group that wanted to see a change from Talbot. They talk about the left-wing group in that same party. They talk about the PPC. They talk about the military wing of the PPC. So where would you classify yourself if you were looking back? Were you like pro-Talbot system, or were you one of those that wanted to see a change from within, as you just were iterating to us? And what were you all doing to carry out that change? Was it going to be something you thought violence would be necessary, or did you feel that there was a way you could have done it through ideological or other political means?
Well, there are two things. Let me say that I was a member of the Precious Jewels. We believe in what William Richard Talbot said and what he wanted to do, because for the first time I saw myself helping young people to move around the country. Into Kakata is where we had one of our conferences, in Kakata, to hold a youth conference to discuss the future of Liberia. So I was a part. The first time I ever attended an inaugural address was from an invitation extended to me by the late William Richard Talbot. All right, so I felt a part of him, though in that process we did a lot. There was something in this country, let me digress a bit, that was referred to as the traditional oligarchy that we went after. We thought it was not right. In my naivety then, as a young man, I supported it. And what was this traditional oligarchy? I was witness in school once, high school, when a student, while in class, we heard the drums around the classroom. And we wondered what was going on. But they had come for one of my classmates to make him chief of a village. And we pleaded, they collected him and carried him. And that was the end of his schooling. But what was important, when we went after what we call the traditional oligarchy, where there was this system where you must come from a particular family line before you became chief in this country. It may have had rather its disadvantages, but I can assure you that we have not replaced that traditional oligarchy with anything in this country, and that's why we had the first coup d'etat in this country. Because when we took the chiefs from there, people who were supposed to be respected, who were supposed to be versed in leadership, and we told them we're going to submit them to elections, not the first coup d'etat, but the civil crisis, where anybody could just walk into the village and, excuse this is no disrespect to my traditional people, where some of them are drug smokers who became chiefs, who didn't even stay in the villages in town. These people were no more respected. So people could go to villages in town and not ask anybody any question. We decided to have them elected. We placed that in the Constitution. What has happened since that time? There has been no comprehensive elections of chiefs in this country, and there will be no comprehensive elections of chiefs in this country until we recognize the fact that Article 3 of our Constitution provides, and I quote, "Liberia is a sovereign unitary state divided into counties for administrative purposes and not political purposes and not election purposes." That was the spirit and intent of the frame of our Constitution. Honor that, where you gave the Ministry of Internal Affairs the authority, because in the context of that part of the Constitution, the Ministry of Internal Affairs was acknowledged.